The Marshall Shredmaster. I think these are one of the coolest looking pedals that they ever came out with. But for those of you that don't know the little history behind this, Marshall came out with a bunch of pedals in the early 90s. The first one came out in, I think it was 1988, which was the guv'nor, which is a very popular pedal. A lot of collectors have them, and they're made famous by, I believe the guv'nor was used by Gary Moore at some point in the 90s, and since then it became really super popular. Then there's the famous Blues Breaker pedal that has been copied by guys like Josh Scott of JHS and was found on John Mayer's pedal board, so that became super famous. There's also a Drive Master, and there's the kind of runt of the litter, which is the Shred Master. And this was made popular by Johnny Greenwood of Radiohead, the song Creep. I'm not a huge fan of theirs at all, but he's the only known user that I could find that made use of this pedal. And I want to just be upfront and say that don't let the name fool you. When you think Shredmaster, I feel like that's automatically going to be like this super high gain, unusable pedal that I'm going to absolutely hate. But this name is so misleading and misunderstood. I think you'll be surprised, as I was when I first got this. I got this as a Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace score. Got it really cheap, and I was like, you know what, I'll just flip it and make a couple bucks on it. I plugged it in, I put all knobs in noon, and was like, this thing sounds like absolute crap. Which it does if you don't dial it in properly. But after spending some time with it, I was just like, why don't I do the Marshall thing and just turn all the knobs up, volume up, gain up, and the bass and treble up, and see what happens. And all of a sudden it opened up and became this great sounding pedal. It's definitely not a jack of all trades. This is by all stretches of the word a one-trick pony. It does the Marshall thing really well, and not super high gain. It does a nice medium to high gain, hot rodded plexi / JCM 800 territory. And it's also got this contour knob that does a really nice job of sweeping the mids in a way where when it's dialed all the way up, the mids are scooped, and when it's dialed back, the mids are more present. So we're going to plug it in. We're going to play around with it. I'm going to hit it with another drive pedal, show you what it's like to get a lead sound. And let's do it. Here's the Marshall Shredmaster. So the signal chain you're going to be hearing is the Shredmaster going into my 1964 Bassman, into my Surreactive load, direct into my DAW. So what you're hearing is exactly what I'm hearing, and what I'm hearing is exactly what you're hearing. It's just better that way. No monitoring in the room, no speakers to change the coloration or anything in the room, just going direct. So you hear exactly what I hear. Here is the bypass tone. That's the bridge pickup of my 79 Les Paul Custom. These are Porter Anthem PAFs. All right, let's kick this on. All knobs at noon. And it was at that point where I was like, this pedal's a dud, it sucks, and I'm getting rid of this. So let's now just dial this in a little bit to actually sound pretty good. So first thing is dime the volume, bring the gain up, the bass and the treble up, and now let's hear what that sounds like. I think that's a pretty great bass Marshall tone. How do you say something bad about that? I mean, it's mean, it's in your face, it's big, it's ballsy, it pairs great with the Les Paul. Let's mess around with some of the settings. I'm not going to touch probably the bass and the treble, because if I touch them, they sound like absolute crap. But let's mess with the gain. Let's bring the gain all the way down. So this is at the lower gain setting. Actually, really nice bass tone. If you have a pedal board and you're running into this, it sounds like a great bass amp tone. Bringing up the gain to about noon. Start to get a nice growl, nice fat overdrive. Keep going with that gain. Here's the gain of 3/4. Now we're starting to get into that 90s grungy type of sound that I guess that this pedal is kind of known for, is that 90s sound. And now here's that gain maxed out. Super, super in your face. I'm going to dial that gain back a little bit. Let's talk about this contour knob. So this is like a reverse mid scoop. So all the way down, you have the most mids. All the way up, you have the least amount of mids. So you hear it just kind of disappear at that point. All the mids drop out. So I guess if you're doing some really drop tune stuff and you want that really scooped sound, I mean, I don't play any type of scooped mid stuff, so if that doesn't suit it, it is what it is. So let's bring that contour back up to where we have some mids present. So now we're real stiff with the mids. I'm going to add a little bit more gain. So that's probably about where I would keep it as a bass setting. Let's see how it reacts to the volume control. It's with the volume about 5. And the volume all the way up. Let's go to the neck pickup with the volume at 5. Really nice. I really like how this is dynamic with the volume. Bringing the volume all the way up. So you hear it's got a nice rhythm sound, a nice, verse part sound, but it doesn't give you the best lead sound. So I'm going to hit this with the Ice Cream from Iconic Guitars and take this into a lead territory. Let's go through this with single coils a little bit. This is my custom Sir with Michael Landau neck and middle, classic telly bridge. And let's hear this bypass. And goose that gain a little bit. Really gives a nice fatness to the single coils. It still maintains a clarity despite distorting the signal so much. So if I roll volume down a little bit, and then crank it up, volume all the way up. Bring that gain all the way up now. Let's hit that with the ice cream now. All right, so this is a lot of fun to play with this pedal. It really gives you that Marshall in a box thing. And for ending's sake, here is the bypass tone again. So that's the Marshall Shredmaster. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Check out the channel if you want to see any other demos. Let me know what you think of this one. Is it a sleeper or is it worth not being a famous pedal? You tell me. Let me know in the comments. Get back to you soon. And I'll see you in the next video.